Hello and welcome back to a special off-season episode of the Texas Private School Podcast. As always, for the first time in a while, actually, I'm one third of your hosting crew, Wes Tolleson. Joining me from College Station is Walker Lott. Joining me from north of the Red River is Ryan Schroeder in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I call in from just east of Dallas in Sunnyvale, Texas, which after recent events, I really dislike saying where I'm calling in from because apparently people will confront you at state and say they know where you live. I'm looking at you, Corey Brown's father. That being said, we
That's
have
just
a
not his
lot.
name, by the way, Corey Brown.
Corey Thomas. Sorry. You know what? We're gonna keep that in. We're gonna keep that in to show that we're imperfect people on this program. Corey Thomas's father. It tells you how much I've been focused on private school football and athletics in the last month of our sabbatical. That being said, Walker Lott,
Yeah,
turning to you first. Newly employed Walker Lott. Congratulations, by the way,
thank
graduate
you.
of Texas A&M twice over. How are things in your neck of the woods, and what have you been doing in the recent months, not covering private school football?
Yeah, it's funny. I started working with Rep Football. It's a lot of fun. Just helping guys sign the dotted line. We're focusing on the 26s, so helping out some guys around the state TXPS wise, which is pretty cool. By the way, we're recording this the day after signing day, so congratulations to everyone that signed. Seeing all over the Twitters and stuff, seeing guys finally sign the dotted line, it's pretty really cool. Seeing guys go, finally go to the next level, in which we're all about. So congratulations to everyone. Really, really cool. Anyways, but yeah, helping guys do that, doing a lot of communication stuff for them, which is really cool. We just finished up the award show, so that's in the past, which is sick. Glad that that is over and move on. And now headed to the next big thing, which is the TXPS retreat, which we're really excited about doing some legwork behind the scenes for that. And yeah, honestly, taking a vacation. I was at my parents' house back home for like a month, and I don't think I've stayed that long there ever now. But now I'm not a college kid anymore. It's funny. We were getting on this, right? And I don't usually A&M with being a student like paid for Zoom, and we can't use that anymore because I don't go to A&M anymore. So I'm excited to see what other stuff I'm not going to be able to have because A&M is not paying for it anymore. So, anyways, life's good, going good. And yeah, took a little mini vacation, did not care about private school football a little bit, and now we're back at it. I'm excited for this. So,
Exactly. It has been nice to be in that boat, to actually start to focus on Duke basketball for the first time in a while, which by the way, we might have a better team. We don't have a better team this year than last year. Our
no.
record is better at this point in the season. Camp Boozer is better than both AJ Dibansa and Darren Peterson. I will die on
Mm.
that hill. Ryan Schroeder disagrees. Ryan Schroeder, turning to you with all the things going on in Oklahoma with the Thunder, etc. What have you been focusing on now that we are a little farther separated from Texas private school football?
Yeah, no, it's been good. Obviously trucking along with the NBA season. Just got back from San Antonio last night. It's been good prepping for All-Star and stuff. But yeah, well, I mean, getting in the books here of basketball too for TXPS, and we got some really fun stuff coming up this month in terms of state for SBC, state for TAPS, and I know we've definitely got some coaching stuff to go over. So overall, it should be a pretty informative kind of good little off-season episode we're about to have here.
I think so. It's going to be interesting. We've got a few things on the docket. Basically, we're going to look at some coaching carousel type moves, and then Ryan's going to. Apparently, Ryan said in the last, I think he said in the last 6 hours, you've gone from 10% TXPS basketball knowledge to 90%. So we're going to basically take a deep dive there. Anything that we should be looking forward to on that end, Ryan?
Well, I mean, I hate to say this because I feel like I used to be pretty well acquainted with like the entire season and stuff. So forgive me now that I'm in a different space, but I just like that got it all back. You kind of see the same movers every single year, guys going from the 26s of last year, obviously the main guys look at now, but then we have 27s that are running the show. Two five-star 27s is pretty cool in TXPS. So yeah, stick around for the rest of the episode. We got some cool stuff to go over in that.
Definitely so. And usually, just for context, usually the script is my baby. I build the script and then we go off of that. I actually didn't realize that we had a script until 30 seconds ago when I randomly clicked into it. So apparently, it looks like we're actually going to start with some off-season trivia. Ryan, if you have that ready, you mentioned this was going to be very, very difficult and it's basketball
Mm.
related. And you said, quote, I think Walker might get a couple, which means by design, I won't get any, and I'm the dumbest person on this program. So, number one, I take a little bit of offense to that. But I am curious to see how this goes. By the way, before we get to basketball trivia, I forgot there was a couple of things I wanted to address off the top.
Okay.
Um, since the awards show has come out, people have been very, very upset with the burner of the year choice. I want
Really?
to make something very clear. I don't make the choice for burner of the year. There is a shadow committee that we answer to that picks the award winner. I don't, and now there are like Wes Tolleson hate accounts popping up. I understand the frustration. I don't particularly like no context either. I had to call him my good friend to appease him. I've made as many excuses as I could. Please don't send me any more death threats. I say that half sarcastically. I did actually get death threats on Instagram because of the pick. I have no beef with the SBC community. Leave me alone. Um, that's what I was going to say. Um, I wanted to say there was something else. I don't think there was. Just stop trying to dox me over the burner of the year pick. Well, maybe one of you will get it next year. Ryan Schroeder, on to trivia.
Yeah, I just sent y'all a link. I don't know if that works. If Walker could pull it up and possibly
Ooh.
share with the class. Okay, perfect. So this is the top 10 TXPS basketball player to make the league since 2000, and it's based on games played in the NBA. Okay. So, schools must like currently be a TXPS school or a TXPS adjacent school. The reason why I mention this specifically is because there were a couple schools that like were private schools, but like obviously have been abolished now, and they
Yeah.
never were like TAPS. However, there is like the CLCA Kingwood, which is technically TCal, but whatever. So I included two of those guys. One of them actually did go to Bel Air as well. So yeah, 11 total, 10 that you really just have to guess, and it's pretty hard.
Is
All right.
Prime Prep's not in existence anymore? They abolished
No,
that.
they burnt down. And half those kids went from like Grace Prep to Prime Prep, maybe back to Grace Prep.
So I'm actually so dumb. You are exactly right. That's supposed to read Grace Prep, but they came from Prime Prep. That is
Yes.
Grace Prep.
Oh, okay, that
Yeah.
counts.
So yeah, I've already messed
I
up,
know
and we
that
haven't
guy
even started the
though.
quiz
I do
yet.
know that
So
guy.
I know two
okay,
others, so I'm gonna steal off the rip.
Okay,
okay.
Okay,
that
so
doesn't work. Okay,
okay,
so I have to go in here.
Julius Randle was the one that went to Prestonwood, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Rand Julius Randle. I know
Liam
it's
McNeely for Plano John Paul 22. Okay, those are my contributions. Walker,
What about Plano John Paul 21?
Jalen Shelley.
Manuel
Oh,
Mudiay. Shout out to
It's
Manuel
not,
Mudiay, who
yes,
went
Emmanuel
it's
from
not
Mudiay.
Jalen Shelley. The answer I said was going to be the answer for everything isn't the answer.
No, he went to Prestonwood, so that would be yeah, and it's also SH. Yeah,
Oh,
no, it's not Jalen Shea.
Liberty
Nice.
Christian
oh,
is
it's Tyson. It's Tyson.
Yeah.
It's Jalen Tyson. I knew it was Jalen.
So
is that how you spell it?
is O instead of E. O instead of
Ah,
E.
I think it's just one. Yeah.
okay.
I was gonna say too, Luke Cornett, I just saw last night
Yes.
had 14 rebounds against us, so that was kind of heartening to.
What do they call themselves? French Vanilla is the nickname for him and Wemby.
Is that what it
I don't
is?
like that very much.
I think it's awesome. Okay.
Okay,
Makes me
okay,
You're
uncomfortable.
pushing my knowledge now. Okay.
okay.
Let me
So
think
the
through this.
rest of the guys basically on this list, besides two, are guys I never heard of before today. So for just context on that alone, you've done pretty well. Okay.
Okay,
Wait,
Ryan.
wait,
So
wait.
you're saying this is top 10 by that you're by games played or top.
Games played, and they must have played high school before 2000. Like they must have graduated after 2000. Sorry,
Boom.
dude.
Okay, so
Boom.
you're missing one. You're missing one.
Boom.
Who did I miss?
Justice Winslow from St. John's.
He did go to St. John's. He did.
So
That
just get rid of all of it now. I know I'm
Yep.
so ready for a college coach or for a high school coach. Also, by the way, high school coaches, if you're watching this and actually wanted to do it, you're more than welcome to. We can put it in the description. But uh, I was gonna say a high school coach is gonna be like, we had a guy here for like 5. It's like the Marvin Mims at Legacy. It's like we had a
Right.
guy here for 10 games, dude, and then he left. Like you got to count
I
him.
mean,
It's like,
and also like how many of those like prep schools do you count and all those
yeah,
things?
I had an entire basketball reference sheet that showed me every single guy
Right.
that played high school ball in Texas, but
Okay. No, I trust you. I trust you. Okay.
that's good. That's good.
Think
Okay,
okay,
so
so how many of these guys left are currently playing? Do you know?
that number 3 spot
Uh-huh.
is very active, like
Okay.
still like starting, and then the rest of the guys don't play anymore. The rest of the guys are
Mitchell. No.
genuinely pretty bad.
Is
Garland?
Jared Allen
Yes,
on the
sorry. Yes,
team?
you're right.
He played. He played in. Oh, that was a shot in the. Oh my
No,
god.
because
Jared Allen.
he's a 5-star that went to University of Texas, so it makes sense he's in Austin.
Okay.
Oh. Oh,
So
dude,
the
I'm kind of carrying this list.
okay.
Whoa, what do you mean? I got
I
DeAndre
mean,
Jordan.
I got Julius Randle, I got Jared Allen, I got Jalen Tyson, I got Liam McNeely. That's 4 out of like the 7 that we
You
have.
would have never gotten Emmanuel Mudiay.
Dude,
No, I didn't realize you stole DeAndre Jordan. No, so I didn't know he went to Bel Air. Did he
the
really?
Yeah, he did. I forgot
well, he
about
went
that.
and he got his jersey retired at CLCA / Kingwood. So
Huh.
Gotcha.
that was the other CLCA Kingwood dude. I he got arrested, so not a great dude. And he's out of the league. I could not remember his name before this, but yeah, he had us after he was in Portland. He was arrested for something bad, but
Okay.
that's what that. The rest of the dudes are like super hard. The Spurs dude didn't go to college and was picked up on a 2-way just because he lived in San Antonio. Uh, the Hawks Village school guy. I mean, yeah, you might just hit the give up button. The rest of these names
I'll
are
give it to the rest of the minute. Just if there's, do
okay.
you know, like, okay, would I know any of these guys? The rest of them?
If any of it would be the bonus guy, the guy that played 556 games. He's best known for the Kings. Got arrested when he was on Portland, and then now has played like overseas.
Hmm.
I
Was
was
he like he was good for a stretch of time?
no like I barely remembered his name, like barely. I'm trying to
Andre
think about
Karolinko.
the
No.
ESD guy played for the Celtics for a good
Did
couple
did
years.
by the way, did Harrison Ingram from St. Mark's not make the league?
So, well, like, it was games played. So there's guys like Harrison Ingram. There's guys like Manny Obaseki.
Yeah,
Those guys are pretty much living in the G League at the moment.
that makes
Harrison
sense.
Ingram was buns, by the way.
No, he was not. He is not
He
Buns.
played for he played for the team down the street from Durham. He's buns.
The
Played for
Lord.
Stanford. What was his high school? You name his high school?
St. Mark's.
Oh, close. Wait.
No, yeah, he's
Yes.
right. St. Mark's.
Correct. Sorry, dude, bro. I'm already losing it. Yes,
All right,
St.
I'm
Mark's.
just gonna give up because I don't know any, and,
Yeah.
and Wes hasn't
I-
said anything.
Nope.
Phil Presley, Ben McLemore,
Huh.
Ben
huh?
Ben McLemore. So Ben McLemore, bad person. Yeah, and then Isaiah Taylor. Isaiah Taylor got picked up off the street. So I
Ugh.
honestly, you did pretty well.
Okay, so wait, so stop. Out of we got how many? That's 1, 2, 3. So we got 6.
7 out of 10.
Oh, we got 7. Sorry, I got
That's a
1,
passing grade.
2. I
Or
got
no?
1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 out of the 7. I win. I win the list.
Oh, I
Oh
hate.
my gosh.
Okay, but
Acting
you
like he
said
wouldn't have gotten-
Julius Randle just faster. Like that's not fair.
Okay.
Anyways,
that is fair. That
I'm
is
being
fair.
competitive. I'm being competitive.
It is. I'm just happy because I thought I
Fine.
would.
Hey,
I'd
I'll
get
give you
2.
this. I'll give you this. I'll let you win if. Do you remember who was the number 1 player in the state of Texas in his class that went to Grace Prep but didn't make the league? Do you remember the guy?
Great
when was
question.
this?
I saw him listed multiple times when looking.
Probably like right when we were in middle school, I believe, or like in freshman year.
No,
He
the
had
only,
it.
The only,
I'll
the
give
only
you a little bit more.
TXPS goat that I acknowledge is Austin Benetti.
That's a good goal. I think he's balling, by the way, at Navy.
Benetti? Is that what you said?
Benetti.
Benini?
Benini.
Is
Is it Benini?
I
I'm
think
pretty
so.
sure it's Benini.
I don't know.
Anyways,
How am I supposed to?
Don't
Benetti.
worry. Don't worry. Reese Alston and
Yes.
whatever the Auburn guy's name is that's on Auburn that played at St. Michael's
Adams.
last year.
Nigel or Austin Wilkins something.
These guys will all make this list in a few
Yes.
years, and we'll be doing great.
Okay,
So,
Wes, back to the question. He had like a medical thing and couldn't play basketball. He was signed to Baylor. Remember?
Oh yeah, stop the tall dude, Isaiah Austin.
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't know he went to
Oh,
Crazy
look at
Prep.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's legit.
There
Yeah,
you go.
he's on a picture in Georgia's.
Yes, he is.
That's how I remember Isaiah Austin, and
Yeah.
he had the heart thing.
Yes.
Wow.
All
Y'all did
right,
really well. Y'all did really well. Maybe I kind of like underestimated y'all. That was very
you
good.
did. You said Walker might get a couple, and then that was.
Well, yeah, I mean, shoot. That was really good. I honestly, if we did that in 5 years, I bet there'd be more names on there, which
Oh
is pretty cool
yeah,
to think about. So,
definitely.
Okay. Okay. Well, that I enjoyed that thoroughly. That
I
actually
did.
it made me less self-conscious about my ball knowledge going back in Texas private school basketball. That being said, we're gonna go from basketball trivia to a little bit of football talk back to basketball. We're gonna start with some of the football stuff, mainly looking at TXPS coaching carousel. And I'm sure this will be on the screen at some point. Walker may, what I will say is a fantastic graphic over this. I
Thank
saw
you.
this, I had fallen asleep and I woke up, I think this morning, and I was like, I just like 30 messages in the group chat, and I was like, oh, it's a nice graphic. And then I just went back to sleep for like 5 minutes. That being said, there's a lot of moving and shaking. I don't know. I mean, this actually probably is a little bit more than in recent years. But
Yeah.
I think there's been some very high profile jobs come
Yeah.
open. See, Regents came open, Second Baptist came open, Southwest Christian came open, Prestonwood came open, Liberty came open, Tyler Grace Community came open. But there's a lot moving around. That being said, and we're not going to hit every single one of these. You can see based on the graphic what's going on. We're going to basically take a second and go through some of the big ones. We're going to start with what I think is the most important is Prestonwood Christian. Um, basically a couple months after making the state title game, Prestonwood announced that head coach Donnie Yantis was resigning his post, and they haven't brought anyone in yet, and we don't have any clarification on where Coach Yantis is going. This was the most shocking just because Prestonwood was in such a prime place, not just, moving forward because of the culture, but also they had so many great athletes.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? 12 athletes left in that time frame. And it's kind of a chicken or the egg thing. We don't really know if they left because of the news or if there was already something that happened, they left. I'm just going to say, and I want to preface this by saying, and this isn't an investigative piece. Coach Yantis has always been very, very nice to us, and I have respect for him as a coach. We had heard rumblings of some discontent in the program really as far back as 2022. I think from the outside looking in, it looked like it was run well, but there was, I think, among parents and coaches, to put it lightly, just ready for a change. And I don't know what that means when there's so much success with the program, but it's just adding some color to the situation without talking a lot about a situation we don't know about.
Yeah.
Walker, I'll cut to you. Coach Yantis had a lot of success with Prestonwood,
Yeah.
especially this year in a division where it's absolutely the hardest one in the land. They took down Liberty and they took Parrish right to the wire. And I think to win state or even come that close in that district is the most impressive feat in the land. And then a couple of months later, Coach Yantis resigns. Your thoughts on that and maybe where Prestonwood could go from here?
Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure. And I mean, it is the biggest job available officially. Um, yeah, I mean, Donnie Yantis came in and kind of followed a guy who was pretty much the goat of the school, right? And Chris Cunningham, and you're like, how do you follow up a guy like that? And I think he did year one he made the state title game, and then the next 2 years, semifinal maybe something like that, or quarterfinal. It's in my article. Go read it. I think. And I mean, did a solid job there at Prestonwood, but yeah, it just seemed like from what we've heard, it just was time for a change. And that's the interesting part. Prestonwood becomes probably one of the best jobs open. I don't, I think they absolutely are the best job open. I'm excited to see the coaching search. This is not a job that's just good for private school, just great for private school. This is a job that a lot of coaches around the state, regardless of public or private, are going to take a look at because this is a team and a school that is always has resources to compete at the highest of levels, right? This is a kind of a blue blood style program in the private school, and this is you've had a lot of success over the years. And yeah, it's a school that like if you don't make the state championship, it is kind of a disappointment. That's kind of the idea there, right? If you're not a top three team in the state, not a good season. And so I'm very intrigued to see who they bring in. This year, this past one, right? They went nationwide for their search. When I'm going to guess they do again, and they found a guy from Arizona and they brought him in, and he did a fine job. Are they going to do that again, go nationwide, or are they going to get a guy who's local to TXPS, kind of knows the books, one of these younger coaches around the state? Also, being real, I don't think there's a head coach in the state that wouldn't think about this job, right? Like in the private school ranks, no school really is. It really is like we were talking about this in a group chat. I know I'm now rambling, so I'm gonna shut up in here in a second. But like, how good is a job? Like, where is the ranking of just jobs in the state of Texas in terms of private school? Because not just because the coach is in it, right? But like the job itself, how good is it? There's not many jobs that are better than Presswood in the state.
No, that's been seen just with the level of success that they have. As good as Liberty's been, recently, Prestonwood has as a program is honestly significantly above them as a landing spot. I mean, I think it's a prime position. I don't know off the top of my head, some candidates. I don't know if they're looking to hire internally. I thought personally Liberty would do that. They did, and we'll get to that in a second. But I think that's the best available job right now. Ryan
No doubt.
Schroeder, Prestonwood is a school that we cover extensively, and this honestly it was a shock to us when we heard it was happening with the resignation of Yantis and the path forward for Prestonwood. What's your overall thoughts on a very interesting situation?
I was just about to say off the rip, this is 1000% one of the most attractive jobs. You have a school that has been, ever since we were in high school, defined as a football school in terms of the success they've had. They've sent guys off to college like nobody else has. You could actually argue that it's basically been them that has stood the test of time of the changeover inside of TAPS over the last, let's call it, past 10 years since 2015, 2016. They're the one that won the championships, and they're the one that still made the state championship games all the way into basically right now. Meanwhile, you've had the parishes, the liberties, and all of them kind of pass through during this time. You've had a lot of changeover around Prestonwood, but Prestonwood has stayed consistent. I'll tell you this right now: if there was no Daniel Novikov, Prestonwood would still be running ship how they have been even when we were still in high school. This job is extremely attractive. Coach Cunningham laid the groundwork there, and then obviously Coach Yantis took over and basically left where he took off in terms of just keeping the program at how high of a level it was at. All that being said, I'm excited. You have to have the right person for this job. People are going to be expecting you to have the right person for this job. This school has won state championships. They've truly had some of the great players come out of the school. I don't think, although this is like, yeah, the best job, it might be the one that has the most scrutiny. It might be the one that has the most, kind of like, I don't even know how you the
It's like going
highest
into
qualification,
yeah,
highest qualifications, right? Like you want the perfect person for this job. So,
yeah.
um,
It's
that's
like
how I see it.
I always kind of see it like it's like not the same thing because titles it's a little different, but like going into Bama, right? With DeBoer winning to Bama, you're not Nick Saban, and that's kind of what he had to do with Yantis had to come in after Cunningham, and you're
Right.
always going to get scrutiny because you have to reach the state championship, and if you don't, that type of thing, right? So, but you can find success there. The church is massive, right? Of course, with Prestonwood, if you have that behind you, you can find a lot of success there. So, I'm very intrigued.
Definitely so. Moving on to another, probably the biggest one that we also heard. Jason Witten, who had essentially become kind of like the premier coach and program in TXPS, rising, kind of from the ashes in 2021 to in 2024, looked like an unbeatable juggernaut, has left Liberty Christian to go be the tight ends coach at the University of Oklahoma. This was rumored for a while and it broke, I think, in late December, early January. They then announced that the special teams assistant coach Josh Martin from Nebraska would then come in and be the new head man at Liberty. Apparently, he had a cosign from that rule in that regard. It's interesting just because it's a high caliber coach from the collegiate ranks, much like what Coach Yantis did, coming, I think, from Arizona State. And that obviously had a lot of success at Prestonwood. I've been reading a little bit about Josh Martin. I know that the diehard Husker fans are not happy to lose him, which is usually not what you hear about a special teams coach, but apparently he was pretty popular around Lincoln. Walker, this is obviously very big. We still, I don't think, have any confirmation what Cooper Witten is doing in 2026. I think we heard some rumblings that he would like to stay at Liberty Christian. That would be preferable for us, to be honest, because I like covering the five-star athletes that we have in the sport. But his father is going on to greener pastures in Oklahoma, which we all knew. That's kind of the punchline. We all knew that Jason Witten would be a college head coach one day. Heck, we've been hearing Cowboys fans clamor to hire him for the last 4 years. But that being
Yeah.
said, I think it's a great move for Coach Witten. We knew it would happen at some point. I think this is a good path at a high caliber program. What I'm more interested in is the thought process on Josh Martin, who spent time. I know he was the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Little Elm. He also spent some time at Tarleton State, Arizona State, SMU, and obviously Nebraska. So, guys had 15 years of collegiate head coaching experience. I am almost completely positive with the attention to detail that Jason Witten has that he is not going to leave without having some hand in the process to find a replacement and making sure that replacement is as insane in a good way and detail oriented as he is. I personally think that Liberty is going to be in a good spot moving forward. Is there any reason to think otherwise?
No, I don't think so. Seems like a good dude. He has ties to Texas, right? I think he's from the Smithson Valley area in San Antonio, I believe. And yeah, went to Tarleton, found some other ranks, SMU, so has ties to the local, Power Four schools, which is really cool. I think it's a very exciting hire. I don't know anything about him. I wish him the best of luck. It's a premier program. You have Cooper Wynn to start out with, which is never a bad thing. And we also saw Jackson Knapp, the star sophomore, sophomore quarterback now coming over, going to be the guy with the gunslinger taking the reins next season, which I'm really, really excited about. Welcome back to TXPS, man. I think you have him, you have Cooper, you have guys like Lincoln McCamey, and if those type of guys, Carl Buckhalter, and those type of cats stay, then we get interesting. Also, questions: how much of his staff stays? That's a really big question. I mean, that program was, of course, Jason Witten was elite, but his staff around him was just as good, right? So, how many of those guys move in, move out? That's gonna be a lot of questions about this team. But I like the hire. There's nothing about it that makes me go, I don't know about it, right? So, I'm excited for it. Liberty has did good the past couple hires with the Greek family and now the Witten family, and I think Martin family now comes in, and it's now their turn to lead this team. Like, there's not better teams and like program like mentalities they walk into better than Liberty Christian. So I think they're gonna find success pretty quick, hopefully.
Definitely. So, Ryan Schroeder, I know a lot's been said on the subject already, but obviously a huge move whenever you have a future Hall of Fame coach leave and go to a collegiate program. Your thoughts on Witten leaving and also Josh Martin coming in to replace him?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously understand the move for Witten, right? Obviously, there's so many things to do with his career in terms of his coaching path. Found immediate success at Liberty, joining that program. So obviously, it only makes sense that his career trends upward, being the former Cowboy tight end. Probably, wait, am I going to say this wrong? Is he the best tight end in Cowboy history? No doubt, right?
Oh yeah, he's a
Yeah.
yeah he's a. You could argue, I don't know how much, but like you could argue he's a Mount Rushmore of tight ends of all time type of thing.
Hmm. Anyways, sorry, not to get on a little ramble about that. I was just about to say, like, there's a lot more of his career to go in that area, especially when, um, you know, there's different areas with your sons as well in that aspect. But what I was gonna say, and related to the new coaching hire, I love it. I love it so much. Like, that is, you talk about a statement hire. What Prestonwood is like looking at from the outside is like that's a guy you want to hire. You want to hire someone that has ties to the area, that has ties to college football extremely recently. Like, you want them to basically come in and already have this idea of, like, hey, I'm really going to take my first head coaching job seriously. I have all the aspects of everything I learned at the collegiate level, and I'm super excited to be here. Like you said, the SMU connection is super cool. Overall, I really, really, really like the hire. And I think other schools in the area are noticing schools making that type of move and stuff for coaching for these open coaching positions. They maybe are looking not around at each other and maybe even looking a little bit upwards of like, oh, what colleges have some guys that we would be interested in.
Yeah, definitely so. I think it's also a great opportunity for Josh Martin, who has had a ton of coaching experience, to finally take a head coaching job and see how he can
Right.
do. I'll be really curious to see, especially so now that we think about it, out of the big three um, in Division One, who have all had the same coach since we started covering the program. Actually, no, Cunningham was still at Prestonwood when we started. Yancey
Yeah,
came in.
yeah, and I think him and Greek were still there. So basically, you're yes, basically.
Basically the same trio that have run Division One, at least in the North. Now, in the same year, two of those coaches are out, and of course, the man Daniel Novikov remains, who I think will probably be at Parrish until hell freezes over. So
Now,
we'll
I just
see.
want to, I was going to bring something up about that, and I'm not putting out speculation. I have no idea, right? But you saw a lot of like big names in Texas high school football have made the move to the college ranks recently, right? Coach Dodge over at Southlake made the move to SMU. A couple guys from the South Oak Cliff went to SMU. A guy down in Hutto who was the OC at North Crowley, who went when they won the title, he made the move up to D2 rank, something like that. Down like Eli Reinhardt, there's a lot of guys that are making the move from the Texas high school football ranks to the college ranks. I'm not saying he needs to because he can win another 4 or 5 titles if he wants because of how that program is set up. He could win as many as he wants. But I am shocked, and they're already probably already, but like I'm very intrigued to see whenever if he ever makes that move to the college ranks because there's no, I don't know statistically, but it can't be that bad. Parish Episcopal might have the best offense in the entire state, right? Like that's not a crazy thing to say, private or public. Like
They
the
do.
points he's put up for multiple years with multiple quarterbacks, multiple receivers, you know, blah 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 blah. Like there's not a better offensive mind probably in the state than Daniel Novikov, and coaches have to see that.
Yeah, I when we've been talking about just kind of speculating on where and when Novikov goes to the next level, because you have to assume he's still a young guy. You have to
Oh yeah.
assume that's in the cards. I hope it's not, because that
Oh
has
yeah.
greater coverage opportunities for us, but we will see. It will be interesting. Moving on, where was I going next in this? Oh, yes, sticking with the theme of TXPS coaches moving up a level. Chris
Oh
Softly
yeah.
announced
Speaking of
on
that.
New Year's, of all places, that he was heading to UT Permian Basin after, I think, 9 full seasons with Lubbock Christian. Just crazy stats. I mean, 101 and 22, had the state titles in 2022, as well as, was that 22 or is it 21? I think it's 22. 2022, as well as this year in 2025. 8 double-digit winning seasons, 7 district championships, 8 area, 7 Final Four, 4 state title appearances, and 2 championships. Walker, Chris Softly was a guy that we basically build as the architect of a program, very similar to a guy, like an Aaron Beck, like a Beck Bride, and just guys that build up the culture of schools. It is a fantastic move, not only by him, but by UT Permian Basin, to see this and snag him. My
Yep.
question is always, whenever you take the architect um, out of the seat, does the program remain intact? I'm not at all thinking that Lubbock Christian will not, but basically, it's not like it was this whole machine. I know there was a whole machine of people doing the work, but when you thought of Lubbock Christian, you thought of Chris Softly.
Yeah.
I think that the transition will be fruitful. It's just interesting to me whenever you lose that big of a piece of it. Just general thoughts, comments, and concerns on Softly departing for a higher level.
No, I think it's speaking from the college ranks, that is a perfect hire for Permian Basin. I mean, I said this in the tweet when we first announced it. There's not a better winner in West Texas than Chris Softly. Like there isn't. No other team in West Texas has made a state championship. It's him and him alone. And he's done it twice recently, right? So I think it's a perfect hire. And I mean, from what I've seen from the social media ranks, they did a great job in the recruiting class. So shout out to them. Shout out to going to get guys in the TXPS ranks, Chris Offley, Major Tucker from Lubbock Christian, Keen Lee from Lubbock Christian, and also Prince Holiday from TWCA, all making the move out there. And also, the He also went and got Legend Howe, our old guy, as well. So he found guys in the from the former and current TXPS ranks to go out there, and I think that's a heck of a job by him. So I wanted to firstly say that. But I think on the Lubbock Christian side of things, this is a guy, like I said, he's a winner, and he was going to get looked at eventually, and they found a great guy in him. Um, the thing about it is, yes, I think it's going to be very hard to replace Chris Softly at Lubbock Christian. It just is, right? What he's done there is nothing short of just perfect, honestly. Two titles in what, 3, 4 years? I mean, you can't, it's hard to beat that. Um, but I think that whole coaching staff is just entirely like, it's like the top of the pyramid is the exactly bottom of the pyramid because of just how well their culture is, right? So if I'm gonna guess one of those guys stays behind, I'm gonna guess some of them, follow him to the college ranks, but maybe a couple of them stay behind. There has to be one of them that takes the reins and keeps that culture alive at Lubbock Christian. Um, if not, and they bring in a whole different crew and all this, then I'm very intrigued to see that. But like, I feel like that's a slam dunk, right? One of those assistant coaches making the leap to head coach there. That just makes sense to me.
Definitely so. Ryan Schroeder, your thoughts on Chris Softly making the move to UT Permian Basin?
First off, I was immediately when it got announced, I was super excited for Coach Softly. That coaches are not making that jump. No one's making that jump, by the way. Like that is Coach Softly is one of one for that. I was extremely impressed in general of just going from where he's at the, call it the third level of 11-man football in private school and taking all the way up to a D2 job, right? That's extremely impressive. Extremely impressive. Like
Yep.
I would beg someone to go out there and find another state across the entire U.S. and find that exact same thing of someone taking basically or being at as low of a job in terms of like stature of a private school, whatever you want to call it, a low level, association job at a high school, and then going out and taking the head coaching job at a D2. That doesn't happen, right? Obviously, Coach Softly adds so much value. He is a winner, and we even when me and Wes went out to a game this year, we could tell you for sure that it is a culture thing. He makes teams win, and obviously he's had some great players over the years as well. But there is something about the structure and the culture that he builds, and I think even having a conversation with him, you could basically realize that from just talking with him a couple of hours, how he really likes to be a leader of men above all things. Uh, with that being said, I know y'all kind of said that it may not be that way. I'm personally going to take a stronger take. I will say that Lubbock Christian isn't the same team they used to be. They're not the same program they used to be without Softly there. I do think a lot of it does come from him. He is
Yep.
truly like that type of coach. And unless they hit a slam dunk like some of the rest of these schools have, I think you're going to catch yourself maybe not being able to match what was of Coach Softly, which would be extremely hard anyways. But that's my prediction for maybe how this is going to go this next upcoming year in D3.
Definitely so. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how well Lubbock Christian can continue on their path towards a hopeful next state championship. Obviously, there's a list of about 25 vacancies. We can't go in depth on all of them, but Walker and Ryan, what I'm going to do here is the next basically 4 or 5 that I think are tantalizing. I'm going to list out. I'll kick it to y'all to give some commentary on, and then I'll give my commentary on a couple, and we will move on to some basketball. For Regents, Kyle Shotwell replaced Tim Phillips. For Second Baptist, Keith Page replaced Beck Bride, and that's something we will talk about. Something that Walker will definitely talk about is Steve Wood of Alito replacing Jeff Dixon. On Houston Christian, Cecil Schwartz replaced AJ Eisenman. And then there's a couple more that I'll look at, but those are the main ones remaining. And then we just announced that Phil Rombach is out at Austin St. Michael's Prep. Walker Lott, I know which one of these is your favorite. I don't remember if we talked about it on the program already, but thoughts, comments, concerns on the remainder of the coaching vacancies we're going to cover.
Yeah, kind of just go down the stage. Steve Wood replacing Jeff Dixon at SES is a match made in heaven. He's awesome. I was lucky enough to have lunch with him and the new offensive coordinator and Derek Ware as well, and my old guy, Coach Harrison. And we just, it was awesome to get to know those guys and see how they kind of want the program to be going forward. And man, I'm very excited as an alumni. I think they're going to do a great job. Derek Ware is going to bring this excitement to this offense that we haven't really seen recently, right? Where when it was the back-to-back semifinal appearances and we ran the ball 24/7 and ran a couple play actions with Tyson Flowers, it was solid, right? Because we had the offensive line, everything to do that. But in recent memory, it just wasn't as the level we needed to. We needed to spice it up. And honestly, that allowing that kind of more, throw the ball, exciting offense allows us to get guys in too, which is going to be a good thing for us. So I think Steve Wood knows he's learned quickly about the new era of what it takes to be a coach in TXPS rinks and how to win. And I think the guys around him are going to be really cool. So A+ hire, very excited for that. If you want to read more about what I'm thinking, go read my article on the website. Kind of breaks it down a little bit more, but I'm very excited for that. And then he's a good dude too. So, other ones, yeah, Keith Page replacing Beck Bryden. I'm very excited for Coach Page. He's a good dude. I think from what I've heard, like a lot of people are really excited about that hire. A guy who, the Second Baptist defense has been good for a very long time. I don't know when they really hasn't been. And this year, especially, their defense really stood up in a lot of big moments. And people around the program are really excited about him. So I think it's a great hire. Beck Bryden, I mean,
I'll just say for the sake of argument, Beck Bryden resigning. I don't remember what the exact term was. Kind of the same space as Yantis on the backs of a state title appearance, and also one that was incredibly impressive given by how much adversity they went through. Probably something behind the scenes there as well. We don't speculate, but that raises an eyebrow.
Definitely not. I don't think it's the same as Donnie Yantis in terms of like I don't think there was malice going out as much as that one, basically, right? I think it was just kind of a new era for Second Baptist, and that's what they were kind of looking forward to. So Beck Bryden's one of the best to ever do it in TXPS, and if he ever gets back into coaching, give us a call. We'll break the news. But if anyways, you have my number, give us a call. We've always been thankful for your relationship and friendship over the years. But I'm really excited about Keith Page. Going to the Regents one as well. Tim Phillips, I mean, did amazing things for Regents. It was kind of since winning the title with Drew Dickey that year, right? It was kind of the next steps of like, okay, Bryden left. Phillips is like the middleman for the next guy to kind of take over, and he's been trying to figure out, all right, who's the guy to replace me, and that's Kyle Shotwell, who I think is a fantastic hire. He's a great dude. I think he's going to be great for this program. He's been kind of the athletic director anyways. He knows Regents really well. He knows what it takes to win. It's kind of a plug the same hole, take out a person, whatever, take out a person, replace it with the same culture. Like it's going to be nothing changes at Regents, which is going to be really good. Other than that, I think Houston Christian, Cecil Shorts is an interesting one, right? I think he brings a lot of just juice and energy to the program. I being real, Wes, kind of shocked this happened. I think you're talking about a guy who just won a title a year ago with Houston Christian, and now he's getting replaced by Cecil Schwartz, which is he knows TXPS, was at Second Baptist coach for a long time before making the move to Lamar and now here. So I don't think it's Cecil. What I'm saying is it's not on Cecil, because I think he'll do a great job there, and he knows SBC. As we know, SBC is a little bit more lenient with transfers, which will help him out a little bit more. So I'm very excited about those type of things. But I just, yeah, I would have to learn more about what Eisman did, because I think that's kind of a weird one, to be honest, and I'd love to know more, but I'm just
I don't understand it, to be honest with you. And I really like Coach Pirtle, their AD. I'm sure he'll send me a text after this if he watches the episode. I don't understand it personally. I don't know everything that goes on, but after being to, I think, either 2 or 3 consecutive state titles, 2 for sure in 2024, then 2025, or 23 and 24, winning it in 2024, and just being around Eisman the few times that I did, the way that he addresses his team, it's incredibly tight culture, faith-based. He's not one of these guys that's like, yeah, rah, rah, like Christian stuff. That's like, all right, I'm going to cuss you like a dog on the field. He practices what he preaches. I don't know. I mean, I'm not entirely sure. I'm sure Cecil Shorts will do a great job, but I personally like Eisman a lot. I don't know what's going to happen there, but that's kind of my 2 cents on the situation.
Yeah, and especially where he kind of took it to where when they were they were rough. Like they were one of the bottom of the SPC, right? And in 4A moved over to 3A, and he kind of revolutionized that program to get them to compete. I don't know, man. I hope he finds another job, and I think he's a great coach. So I'm excited to see how he does. Um, yeah. Other ones than that, TMI gets Lucas Peters from Kincaid. I think that's going to be a great hire. Their offenses at Kincaid has always been really good. TMI, that's another job of like 1 year coach in Trent Wesson coming over from being the OC at All Saints, takes the role, and now he's going somewhere else. I'm excited to see where he ends up. But hopefully Lucas Peters does really good there. Um, Quickly about some of the open job. I don't really know much about LSS and the job over at Tomball Homeschool. Really don't know anything about that. I'm excited to see how that ends up. Same with Dallas HSAA. The open jobs, I'll open quickly, and then Wes, you can wrap us up. Concordia Lutheran, I think is going to be a pretty awesome job. You have our MVP and Jackson Coleman still around for 1 more year. Ryan Nejic is around for 1 more year. You have a lot of young guys coming through the program, which I'm really excited about. I am shocked, and I'm just vouching for my guy. I am shocked Eric Allen has not been the named the head coach there yet. He's been awesome as the OC. He knows Houston. Coming over from Northland. I'm shocked he hasn't been named the head coach. I don't know how the recruiting the process is going, but I think that's, in my opinion, a slam dunk. But Savio, I just get whoever, get a young TXPS head coach, try to rebuild that program because they need it. ESD, I've heard that they're going nationwide as well. From what I've heard, it might be similar to what St. Mark's did a couple years ago and get a guy from somewhere around the country to come in and take over that job. Very intrigued. The other two that are going to be the big ones is Antonian Prep and St. Mike's Prep over there in Austin. I think those two hires are crucial to the progression of TXPS coaches in the state. I don't get why you wouldn't hire a young and upcoming head coach or offensive coordinator or assistant coach around some of these other TXPS schools for those two jobs. I think they'd be perfect for those jobs. Like there's a lot of great coaches in San Antonio. Someone go hire him at Antonia. Same with Austin. You're telling me no one on the region staff would take that job, or in Houston or DFW would come down to Austin and take that job. There's a lot of great young coaches in TXPS. I think that would be perfect for that Austin job. Um, because I think, and also Phil Rombach has done a great job there the past couple of years. Got him to the second place spot in that district, which was shocking, right? A couple of years ago. I think he's just going back to Oregon to be closer to the family. So best of luck to him. So this is not a rough job to get out, but I that's a clear cut. Give me a young up and comer for that job, man. I think that'd be perfect for it.
Definitely so. The last thing I was really just holding out for was Grace. Tim Russell is either retiring or moving on, and they're hiring internally with Tyler Fleet, who we talked about Lubbock Christian a little bit. Tyler Fleet spent some time as a coach under Softly at Lubbock Christian as well as Midland Christian. He played football for a brief stint at ACU. He's a Tyler kid. Ironically enough, I went to church with his family. They're good folks. That being said, the main thing I want to look at here is, again, as an alumnus or alumni of Grace community, I've got thoughts on the program. I love Grace, but Grace has not really shifted with the times, in my opinion. And it's a weird gray area because in the TAPS bylaws, you're not allowed to recruit. Well, if you look at any of these teams that are successful, they recruit. They will tell you that at these conferences. You need to be able to find a way to entice kids into your program to be competitive. It's something I think Grace has done a little bit more in recent years. The reason I'm excited is Tyler Fleet is 35 years old. And I think there's coaches that are on staff that have been with Grace that are more tenured that I think were very capable for the job. But Grace made a very deliberate decision here and say, we're going younger. We want new life to invigorate this program. Again, nothing of that I've read anywhere, but you're kind of reading in between the lines. Tyler Fleet, I implore you, recruit some kids from East Texas. Just please, like, let my dream of Grace being a competitive 5A football program come true. That being said, on a serious note, I'm a big fan of Tyler Fleet. I think even at 35 is not a child, but is young for a coach. I think even his age, his demeanor, he commands respect. The kids really, really want to play for him. I'm looking forward to see the direction Grace goes in year one under him. That being said, that is all of the coaching carousel that we have to go through. And Ryan has basically written a book on Texas private school basketball as we get closer into playoff time and we near the state championships. So, Ryan Schroeder, in terms of what is going on in TXPS basketball, lay it on us.
I mean, we are truly getting into the thick of it. I put a lot of notes on here, but I'm really just about to skim through this. I'm basically what I'm what I'm going to tell y'all. I don't want to do it like normal. I know we just got a text. I don't want to do it like normal. I need y'all to put some input in this time
Okay.
because y'all actually watch these players. I wasn't at state last year, so you're going to be able to talk about some of these
That's a good
27s and
point. Yeah.
26s.
Okay.
That you saw at state last year. Starting off with a guy that y'all didn't, I don't think y'all saw, if I
No.
remember correctly. This is four-star small forward Baylor commit TMI Episcopal's Elijah Williams. Elijah Williams is an elite player. Offers from Arizona, Cal, Mizzou, Oregon. He's ranked 30th, 36th in the country and 4th in Texas. He's basically fighting former TXPS St. Mike star Bo Ogden for that 3rd or 4th spot in that 26 class. As Bo Ogden has obviously moved to Austin Westlake. I will say this. Him by himself, this dribble pull-up is extremely comp. It looks very much like a move you'd make at the NBA level. Watching his film, I couldn't help but think that every single time I watched him. And guess what? Why are we already doing this? I feel like none of this is serious. You don't even take it seriously. You just put your hand up. When have I ever done that? When you started talking, when have I ever been like, oh yeah, well, let me interrupt your speech about Brook Hill, all right? No, I'm just kidding.
Like you take punches for like 8 months straight, and then it all comes out in one moment, like it did earlier in football season, and then the clock just resets. I, to, I was just gonna ask what comp meant. I feel like, does that mean competitive?
Comparison.
Oh no, he said this.
No.
It's extremely
it's
comp. That
competitive.
seems like it means good.
Yeah, extremely comp. It actually probably means
He's in the
both.
NBA. We don't know these terms anymore, Wes.
Sure. Yeah, so let me just scrap the rest of this from here on out.
I don't know. Okay.
No.
Go on.
Genuinely comp, I would equate it to a little bit of both of that. It's obviously extremely highly competitive. Like, I think the way he moves currently right now is very NBA-like. And I'd also say it's comparatively to the NBA. And there's a reason why it looks very NBA-like. If y'all don't know this, he's actually the son of the former NBA player and NBA head coach of, like, very recent Monty Williams. Well, guess who's coaching that TMI team? He's left his coaching job with the Pistons a couple years ago to come now coach at TMI, Monty
Yep.
Williams. For those who also don't know, he was the coach of the year and made the NBA Finals in 2021, coach of the year in 2022. Monty Williams, how could you have a better coach? The dude is an NBA coach, not even winning like
Yeah.
basically 3 or 4 years ago. Like that'd be like what's the equivalent? That'd be like Saban coming to go coach at Prestonwood job. You know what I'm saying?
It's
I get
almost
it.
better than Saban because it'd be an NFL head coach.
True. I guess I got to make
It's like D'Amico Ryan or something coming from the Texans to coach at like St. John's. I don't know.
But D'Amico Ryan never won Coach of the Year.
Did he not a couple years ago?
I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't know anything.
Who cares?
Said.
It's fantastic hire.
Yes.
And obviously the main reason too is obviously that Micah, who's his brother, he's Elijah's brother. Micah and Elijah are both there, but it's kind of a cool. I don't know. It's kind of cool. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not take a little bit of a backseat after you've basically won Coach of the Year at the highest level?
It also really helps that he got bought out of that Pistons job, so like he's just sitting on house money and just chilling. So,
dude, I think it's so cool. I think it's really cool. But yeah, Elijah's tough. Elijah plays like an NBA player, obviously, probably because he has every NBA connection you could ever have with your dad being literally Monty Williams. But overall, obviously, the highest rated player from TXPS in that class. Another 2026 guy, TXPS guy, is the 3-star combo guard that's going to Rice. He's the Green Hills Jackson Thompson. Jackson Thompson has been elite in SBC. Elite, dude. Basically, for those who don't know, I saw 2 different stats. Someone said that he already has the Green Hill scoring title and like in school history, but then I actually saw something that he has the SBC scoring title for all 4 years he's been at Green Hill. I don't know if he hit those in 2 separate games, but from what I understand is Jackson Thompson has been there all 4 years. He's been elite for 4 years, basically played and had minutes for all 4 years. Last year won the state title with Green Hill. Uh, he's SBC. He is SBC, Jackson Thompson. He came the year after obviously the great guys over at Green Hill with Noah Shelby, Lee Dort, and Francis Chuck. That was the 2021 era. And right after that, we saw Jackson take over. Go back to October on his Twitter. He is just punching dunks down at Duncanville Fieldhouse. I mean, truly is just a highlight masterpiece. The one thing that stands out about him is that he is a little bit smaller. And if you're wondering why Rice is really where he's gotten the offers from, and with New Mexico State and ETSU, those are still great offers. It really just comes down to like the fact that he's just a little bit smaller. But dude, I'm telling you, he is just extremely, extremely tough. Um, Gets downhill like nobody's business, can score any layup. I truly, I was pretty much a massive Jackson Thompson fan just looking at the film. But yeah, played JL3 this past summer. Feels like that's where all the good guys have been playing AAU ball the past couple of years. But Jackson Thompson is doing very well. Obviously, basically an SBC legend at this point already. Moving to the next guy in the 26 class, so we have a 3-star power forward, the Nevada commit. He's Parrish's Hudson Lucas. Hudson Lucas, I got to hit this off the rip, honestly. I know I have it down here, but they call him Baby Chet. He's 6'8", 200 pounds.
What?
National analysts have called him Baby Chet, basically, for the way he's kind of like he looks.
I will say it's accurate. I saw him last year, and to be honest with you, he wasn't a guy that like really caught my eye just because of the main thing. I'd mainly seen a lot of the Mutar twins on social media and some other really good guys. The more film I watch, especially while you're going through this, dude, he's cold. He can play.
He just shoots above guys, basically. At the 6'8", 200, he really does have the Chet style aspect of like he's a shot blocker, and then also it's just like I would say a pretty much a high level finisher in terms of the way he gets to the rim. He had 20 points on that Southeastern Prep team, which for those who don't know is like one of the best teams in the entire country. They have Coach PB over from Duncanville, who also brought Beckham Black, his son,
Wow.
and they are like running everything over there. Well, this guy Hudson Lucas had 20 points against them on a national scale, so he's pretty tough in and of himself. Moving down, I have an honorable mention in this 2026 class. There's the 3-star power forward that's going to North Texas. He's the leadership prep kid, Anis Alexander. He's not listed on the roster anymore, but I thought I'd mention him because he is going to North Texas. He is a 3-star. And leadership prep over the years has actually kind of had a couple guys walk through, but they're still in TCal, and I think they're still figuring out their way to kind of like adapt to the private school landscape with how their school's set up. It's actually right down the street from where I grew up in Frisco. So,
Nice.
but just another call out is that they've
Hey,
had multiple good guys come through.
question, Ryan Schroeder. When they go to these prep schools,
Mm,
and this is something I genuinely want to know the question. Is the
sure.
school like is it at school the actual place? Like, is there an actual like leadership prep school?
The leadership prep does have one. I wouldn't call that a prep school. Leadership prep is like a Grace prep. It's a school. It's a school.
Okay,
But like
okay.
the Southeastern prep national team I just mentioned, like
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
You kind of figure it out.
Yep.
Uh, Moving down, a guy y'all did see at state last year. I mean, I'm talking probably one of the best looking guys I've watched film of. I've watched whatever of. This is the 2027 class we're moving into now. 5-star point guard, Second Baptist is Reese Little Skip Alston.
Little skip.
Bro, offers from Purdue, Houston, Kentucky, UT, A&M, etc. The dude is like that, okay? He's averaging 23, 5, 4, and 3 this year, which is elite.
Yeah.
6'2" driving guard with elite handles and an elite finishing. On top of that, his vision is even better. He has 4 games this season, over 10 assists. I mean, the dude just is a playmaker at every level. Elite perimeter defender. He has 3 to 4 steals about every single game. One game this year, I'm pretty sure he had 6 steals. He's just quick, high IQ, huge. He loves to get to the rack. I'm telling you, like, almost his entire game is just downhill scoring, almost kind of Shea-like, if I will say, say. Uh,
I'm not justifying that comment with a response.
no, I was gonna ask, but
Dude, he's
but
number 21 in the national rankings for
he
2027.
Yep.
he is extremely, extremely fun to watch, I will say. 5 30-point games this year and a 41-point game. In those games, too, it's not like he's just chucking up shots. He's extremely efficient. 62 from the field in all 6 of those games that he had over the 30-point mark. Like, the dude is just getting straight buckets. And the reason why he's extremely efficient in terms of like the fact that he's like just basically not missing shots is he does go downhill a lot. I put the flaw for if there is any flaw for Reece Tolleson, it's just the in games against tough competition, teams tend to clog the paint. They have taller dudes. Southeastern Prep probably had taller dudes, and honestly, they force him to kick out to the shooters and kick to his teammates, or they force him to shoot as well. In all 3 of the games that Second Baptist lost this season, Reece actually shot over his average amount of attempts per game from 3.
Good
And I
find,
think
Mr. Schroeder. That's
I
impressive.
honestly just think in general that like if and I'll get to this later when we go through like the who we think's going to win these different games and who's going to be the best of 5A. But I'll tell you this straight to your face: Reece Olson, if you're going to stop him, you got to basically stop him and force him to kick to other people because even doubling him out of the 3-point line, like he's broken teams down. Uh, he's a bucket. He can bring them back to a state 5A title just like he did last year. Y'all saw it in person. What did he drop? 30 something in the state championship
At
game?
I
least
think
20.
it was absurd.
Yeah. So the dude is a bucket.
I appreciated him, unlike Nigel Walls, because he wasn't. I mean, he was taller than me, but he didn't make me look like I was 5'6". I appreciated that. My interview with Nigel Wall, I actually will not be interviewing Hudson Lucas at State if they make it, because Hudson Lucas will also make me look like I'm 5'6". I'm done interviewing people that are over. If you're over 6'4", I'm not interviewing you at
But
State.
you could also then say, like, hey, remember when I interviewed him before he
Isn't that
made it
your
to the
whole Liam
league?
take?
Yeah, so no, I got yeah, that's my Liam McNeely pick. Like every time
Right.
that Liam McNeely like showed up at UConn, I was like that I was that Leo DiCaprio meme where I was just or I basically just like nudged the person next to me. No, it was him and Dylan Bell. Anytime I saw them on the TV, I was like, I covered him, and they're like, number one, what does cover mean? Number two, I don't care.
I
That's my story.
Well, I'm going to tell you this: if you go to the SBC championships this next week or so, Dawson Battier is not someone you want to be around. 6'8",
Eesh.
power forward, another 5-star in that same 2027 class.
Is he the son of Shane Battier?
No,
Uh,
it's spelled differently.
Okay,
no,
shut up. Continue.
Close though.
no,
Thank
no,
you.
no.
I should
Well, I
be
mean,
like Shane
might as
Battier.
well be. We have so many like. When you said Duncan's daughter plays it at TMI, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
I
his
think
son does too. He's a senior
his son.
at TMI. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, all that to say, Dawson Battier, another dog in SBC, a 5-star. Dude, we have 5 stars all over the
What?
board here. Uh, he's the 3rd best player. He's kind of fighting with Reece for that 2 or 3 spot. Same
Nice.
like the Bo Ogden versus basically Elijah Williams for that 3-4 spot in the 26 class. You have the same thing going on in the 27 class. He's got offers from Kentucky, Auburn, SMU, Houston. The thing I'll tell you about Battier is he is NBA. He looks NBA level. He is a 6'8". We'll call it 220, maybe a little less, 215. He just already looks the part in that
Yeah.
aspect. Had 30 and 11 against SBC rival Greenhill in a incredible game, by the way. That one came down to the wire, buzzer beater. Literally, would love to see that matchup again. We'll hit that here in a second when we talk about the playoffs. But other stat lines for Battier this year, against all the UIL teams they played in early December, he had like a 23-8-5, 24-11-3, 30-13-3. The dude is elite. His size and strength and athleticism is like already he moves like a guard. He moves like a guard at 6'8", and he's playing what he would have to play in the NBA, aka the Cades, the Paulo Banqueros, the Giannis, whoever else you could think of, the guys that are taking the ball up the court, but playing the point guard position in the NBA. He's already developing that, and I think that puts him above the rest in terms of you know trying to set yourself up apart and being 6'8", because that's what the new point guard is in the NBA now. You got guys like Cade, who I think is like 6'7", Shea's 6'6". So, yeah, that feels like the right move there. Overall, those are about the top 5 guys in TXPS. Just talking with y'all, we've said this multiple times, but like the fact that like some of the best players in the nation play in private school in Texas.
Yep.
Like we don't have that in football. Not even remotely in football. We don't have a single. We have two 5 stars in the 27 class, and we have a bordering 4 star, multiple 3 stars. Right, like
Cooper Witten.
we got
But
one.
he's one.
We got
Yeah.
one.
We got one. So and then Jalen Powell's a 4 star.
Yeah.
But is that all we got? Like I know it's
Um,
hard.
In
It's
terms of
harder in
like in terms
football.
of like insane like crazy like top 50 talent, yeah. Like there's like these
yeah.
we've got two guys in 2027 that are top 20 or top 25.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
insane. I mean, I don't think we've ever had that in football.
No.
No, I think it was cool. Speaking of that, I'll segue a little quickly. Uh, Obina Ume is the highest ranked Duke commit this year. Duke signee because they pushed him up to a 4 star. So shout out to Obina Ume. Anyways,
Very
continue.
nice.
Well, I will be 100% honest. I'm going to need some help down the stretch here.
Yep.
I was working on this all day long, but we'll just talk through these. I'll start out with the SBC. SBC is in a North versus South. They've changed this a million times, dude. And I'm kind of like, I'm a little ticked off. I don't understand why SBC has felt the need to switch this back and forth from large school, small school, 4A, 3A, North and South. Like, there's no consistency with it at all. And
So
I think,
no, so how do
you
they
got it.
do playoff brackets then?
So they're doing a 3A and 4A setup,
Okay.
which I'm trying to understand because on the website as well in the standings it lists them as North and South. But if you go to the championships page, it has a 3A and 4A bracket. I'm going to take the wild guess here. It's probably just the same teams how it is in football in terms of like size of school comparatively. And I'll give you the answers for these. The only problem I'm having is there's teams like EHS that appear on the south side of like the standings, but then they don't like but then like it almost makes it seem like it's going to be a north versus south championship. So
I wonder.
like
I,
I
I
don't
I
understand.
wonder if it's like because they don't want to travel so much during district games that they just play all the teams in the north and all the teams in the south, and then they switch to
Mm,
4A and 3A just per term based on like record. I could definitely
that,
see it being something like that.
you're almost probably 1000% right now that I think about this
But that
because
doesn't but to that point, there's so many more north schools than south schools. So like how does that work? So I don't know.
I, I mean, I hate it if I'm being honest, but I understand it. You know, you don't want to make the kids travel all across the state, to play twice a week, right? So, I get it. But now I guess this is going to be a little bit flipped of how I set this up. I'm going to go team by team in terms of who I think has a chance in some of these situations. Uh, First off, you got St. Mark's and Green Hill. We saw that matchup in a game winner by Pranav Donda, I think was the one that had the putback. That game was incredible. You got Jackson Thompson versus who did I just say is that St. Mark's? Dawson Battier. I mean, that is like top talent versus each other at that level. I would love to see that another state championship battle. However, ESD is legit. They got a current record of 6-1, and they're basically led by this 6'5" combo guard, another 2027. He's a 3 star Drew Guy. Their only losses to Green Hill, and they got a win on Tuesday against St. Mark's. The three of them have all beaten each other in this little loop. Um, I think Green Hill and St. Mark's are better teams in general than maybe this ESD team. But don't sleep on Drew Guy. Drew Guy and a couple other guys at ESD obviously did what it took to get the 4 point win over St. Mark's on Tuesday. May run into a sticky situation with the 4A side of SBC, but I think most people would genuinely pay to watch part two of Thompson versus Battier. So hoping that's what we see at the 4A level. At the 3A level, I'm going to cut down here though. It's not even remotely close. We have a team that's gone 32-1 down in Houston. Houston Christian hasn't lost a game since December 5th. They defeated Green Hill, Prestonwood, Westbury, St. Thomas Episcopal, St. Francis. They beat Antonian. They beat some public schools. They beat Capel. They beat like all these different teams. And like it's going to be pretty hard to convince me that they're going to somehow lose in the SBC 3A playoffs. They defeated the 4-1 in their district. The only team that they basically has the second best record is Bel Air Episcopal, and they beat Bel Air Episcopal 79-44. Houston Christian is a step above the rest. We're pretty much at a standard. I don't even know what the football equivalent would be. Probably like First Baptist? Probably, yeah. First Baptist would
Hmm.
probably be the best thing. Like no one is going to touch them in that division.
Yeah, I think
Most
they
likely.
have this. I'm going down a rabbit hole while you're talking, and I guess they're one of their stars is Landon Veal, 6'9"
Yeah.
guard forward from Houston Christian. This guy 6'9" is all I need to know, but I guess like he dropped 22 against St. Thomas the other day. Like this guy's cooked. This guy's cooking recently.
I I'm what I'm telling you is like 32-1 is you shouldn't be doing 32-1. You shouldn't be beating the rest of these teams like this too. Defeating Green Hill, who we're saying is basically has a chance to win the 4A state title. Um, they got something going great down there in Houston. But if y'all are good, we're gonna move on to the taps predictions here. I didn't fully go through this, but we'll kind of cut through the good chunk of this. The 6A level is so interesting. It's extremely interesting. On one hand, you have TMI that has the NBA Coach of the Year a couple years ago. You have his son, who's a 3-star, 4-star. You have other players. Obviously, you just said Tim Duncan's son's on that team. Like TMI is clearly having this incredible setup. It almost feels like it's gonna fall into their handbasket, right? But no, like the former state champions have basically already decided like they're back in business too. Even without Bo Ogden, they already got a win earlier this year over TMI. They've lost the last two. They lost the last two against them in district, but overall that's a 1-2 scenario right there down in the south. But then up in the north, you have the team that lost on the game winner last year in the state championship. You have Parish Episcopal. You got no Sawyer Batts. You got no Paul Decor. You have no Tory Mitchell. But, bro, that's no problem. After playing a 38-game schedule last year, I'm pretty sure Coach Ahmed Ajami, if I'm saying that correctly, has learned the balance of like playing a more balanced but elite schedule, right? You're still booking the best teams in the nation, but you're not playing like 40 games, right? I think they played closer to about 25 at this point. They booked Duncanville, which obviously is already incredible. Booked that Southeastern prep team I've already told you about. Booked Corona Centennial, which is the Jerry McCain's old school.
Hmm.
These are
Hmm.
massive teams across the state. Parrish is booking the biggest schools on the planet year over year. Um, Something to think about. They defeated Green Hill, Prestonwood, Grace Prep, you name it. They've won already this year. Parrish right now has, like we already mentioned, Hudson Lucas. They have Gavin Fuchs. They have both the Almutar brothers, who, by the way, are some of the best playmaking guards and like wings. I mean, they're big enough to be almost like stockier wings at this point too. They've truly won. Last year, for those who don't remember, they had the crazy stretch where they like only lost like I think 4 games during the year, and then their fifth loss was the state championship loss. Like they are this program is like built to win. I think last year stings so badly for some of those guys that were the juniors on that team. After watching the film, this is how they beat you. Their transition defense is better than anyone I've seen in terms of film wise from any of the other people I've watched. They are in the passing lanes, they're everywhere, and they are hitting outside shots. They it's this 3-and-D combo across every single player, and then you have the shot blocking from Hudson Lucas on the interior. I I think that if you want to beat Parrish in the playoffs, you cannot turn the ball over. You just cannot turn the ball over. Um, because they'll make you pay. I mean, all the film I watched is just stealing scores, transition buckets, everything just was like every opponent they played, even the guys at the highest level, Corona Centennial tape, they're pickpocketing dudes. They're in the passing lanes, like they're always one step ahead on that. So I think Parrish is pretty destined, but obviously we have a high caliber of players in 6A, like y'all saw last year, right? Like I don't know from your perspective last year with the guys you did get to see. I know Wes kind of already hit on it. Like without Bo Ogden, is St. Michael's given everything they basically have the same guys as last year.
Yeah.
Is that the same team in your book, or is it really a Bo Ogden level team that is somehow still kind of grabbing wins here and there, and may eventually still fall to the TMIs of the world that have already beat them twice in district?
They were pretty complete all the way through,
Yeah.
but Bo Ogden was clearly the best player, and given what Parrish loses year to year, what St. Mike's loses, especially losing Bo Ogden, I mean, I think Parrish has to be. I know they're the favorite going into this game last year, but I think they still definitely have to be the favorite
I,
in state this year.
I think Sun Jinkall, that the senior guy who was kind of their point guard last year, kind of I think taking a little bit of a step up this year, has gotten a couple offers, and I think he'll be kind of the main dude for them. The only reason I know this is I read Jay Garcia's article when he kind of previewed district for them. They have two freshmen that are kind of standing up and like showing out for them. That kind of you can't replace Bo Ogden, a guy like that, right? But like kind of more just guys to step in and kind of help out this team. And there's two freshmen that are kind of doing that this year. One of them is, I think, a shooter. I wish I knew their name on the top of my head. Might do that in a second. But I think they're really good. And just adding on to that point, I don't know anything, but I think it's interesting that TMI, right? They played St. Mike's earlier in the year in early January, and they beat them 71 to 59, right? And then recently TMI just beat St. Mike's again, but only by one, 72-71. So I think maybe that means St. Mike's is learning them a little bit better, knows how to play this team. So maybe in that semifinal against TMI could be a little bit interesting. Um, See if TMI makes it to state in that semifinal game and whatever the tournament. Maybe it's a little bit closer than we think, but against Parrish, I don't know. You said it last year that I think all three of us kind of were like, yeah, Parrish is the team. They're going to win it. And then St. Mike's kind of controlled most of that game and then, won on a buzzer beater. But that makes it pretty special. Like there's a lot of guys that I don't really know, and which on the football side of things, you kind of know by week 3, all right, who's winning the state. And basketball sides, I have no idea, man, and that's awesome.
I didn't even mention the TCA Addisons and the JP2s of the world that
Yeah,
are also putting up great caliber years as well.
Antonian
Something,
Prep has this like point guard
yeah.
that's put up like 3,000 points or something, leads San Antonio in points right now. Like it's crazy.
I think 6A. I'm trying to go with what I know in 6A. I'm trying to go with, hey, I've seen Parrish. I think Parrish. I see TMI. I think TMI, but nothing's guaranteed. I was kind of upset about it when I first read the schedule and that we were going to San Antonio. I was going to actually go to the Antonian versus TMI game on Tuesday, but I actually wasn't able to make it because we played that night and didn't travel till later that night. But there is something to say about we don't know at all. And like you just said, Walker, you get into football, it's like I got a couple names for you, and if these people aren't there by state, then we have something completely wrong.
Right.
So, moving on to 5A, when I tell you, I'm not trying to just single out Reese Alston, but like Reese Alston in Second Baptist is a different body of work. Shia Francis is also on that team too. He's their second leading scorer. Caden Smith is also another elite player. This is what I just told you about with Reese Alston and Second Baptist is if you stop Reese Alston, that's the only way you're beating this team, right? They have a couple other playmakers and scorers, but at the end of the day, if a guy's going to score 30 points a game and he's gonna be extremely efficient and he's gonna have about 10 assists and he's gonna lock you down on defense and he's not gonna turn the ball over because he only ever has like 2 or 3 turnovers a game. You're not getting past Reese Alston, right? I'm looking back into the standings now because I really haven't had a ton of time to look at this. Grace Prep obviously would probably be Josh Duke's probably screaming at me right now, being like, "Well, we're 23-1. What are you talking about?" Brook Hill obviously 28-4 right now. TCS Lubbock has a dude too. I don't want
Yes.
to overshoot.
Lukai Anderson, I believe. He's a junior. I've been scrolling the Twitters and I found him. Yeah. He played for Southern Assault this summer, I believe. Or
He's
like
nuts.
for January. The kid's insane too.
So he's got the ASU offer from what appears on his list right here on 247. But I mean, shoot, did you know your Grace Community Cougars are 24-8 right now?
I saw they were pretty good. I just think they've lost to Brook Hill twice, and that made me upset.
Yeah, that would do it. Mostly because Brook Hill's 7-0 in that district. So we now have currently three district three divisions, I guess is what it is. Three divisions right now that are all undefeated at the top. Grace Prep's 10-0, Second Baptist 9-0, Brook Hill 7-0. Um,
Hmm.
But that's not to say anything. I mean, a TCS Lubbock team with a guy like who's ranked the seventh best player in the state in the 27 class with Lakai Anderson. Um, I mean, there's a lot of things to shift around here. I'm not going to say anything too crazy. I feel like I probably should have checked more on this Grace Prep team. From what I see right in front of my face, MJ Boyd has 16 points per game, a sophomore guard. He's about 55% from the field. Amari Coleman is a junior. Of course, they have another good Amari. Amari Jameson is the first guy I thought of as soon as I read Amari on Grace Prep. But overall, it looks like they have a couple dogs this year too. Pretty young as well. If MJ Boyd is only a sophomore, Trey Green a junior, Amari Coleman's also a junior. I think Josh Duke is
Cohen
truly,
Jurgensen plays for them too. Shout out Cohen Jurgensen, the quarterback, making the move over.
dude. I mean, you want to know who knows how to win is Josh Duke too. This
I
dude
mean,
is
and you think about it, they're coming for revenge because they made the state title game last year. But remember, like a couple of their guys were hurt in the state title game last year, if I remember correctly. And so they came in, and I remember Duke saying like, "Hey, I have like 4 or 5 guys out. Like, only have like one starter, 2 starters playing. Like, it's gonna be a rough one." And so they're coming for their get back this year, and I think it should be a pretty fun one if they can get all the way there pretty healthy.
Yeah.
Jo- Josh booked a mostly private school schedule from what it looks like. They are only loss of the entire season is Parrish on November 11th. They theoretically same thing I just said about one of the other teams. They haven't lost, I guess, since November 11th, if that's the math in terms of 23. So 22 straight wins since then. They beat JP2 in overtime. They have a couple public school wins on here as well. Denton Ryan, Centennial, Flower Mound. But overall, booked a pretty private school heavy schedule. I hate to be that guy, but when Second Baptist is booking a national schedule and has only 3 losses, you start to think about, well, they have 3 losses and booking a national schedule, and Grace Prep is playing an all private school schedule. I mean, still very impressive to have only 1 loss, but I think
Yeah.
you kind of have an idea of what we're going to see come the end of February.
Yeah, I remember from that state title game, Will Goolsby, that number
Goolsby,
30
yeah.
shooter and Shia Francis were dudes. So yeah, they're gonna have a good team this year. I'm excited for it.
Goolsby's shooting over a 40% clip from three. I saw that earlier. I was going to make a statement about how if Reese is to pass to anybody in the wing to make anyone, if you're trying to force Second Baptist to shoot, the only guy you don't want to have them shoot is Will Goolsby shooting over
Yeah.
that 40% clip. Um, Moving on, this will be the last one we hit. 4A. 4A has a couple different avenues to go down. Obviously, there is the bright in your face McKinney Christian of old, who is currently, if I have it sitting in front of me,
32
32
and
and 1.
1. Wow.
32-1.
Oof.
Um, Coach Martinez is over there. He's been over there the past few years at the head coaching role. Um, they have completely figured out how to dominate the private school schedule. They're very similar uh, to Josh Dukes' Grace Prep in that way. It's very funny. I think I'm pretty sure that Fonzo and Josh have a very great relationship. So it seems almost almost like related that they have pretty similar structures in their schedule and overall similar success this year in terms of the private school ranks. A team that I will tell you right now, I don't think I've ever heard of, and maybe y'all have. I brought it up to you before I think we started recording. Is Vanguard College Prep
Yeah,
21-3,
Waco Vanguard?
11.
they
Is
are.
it what?
I think they're out of Waco. Yeah, they're Waco
Yeah,
Vanguard.
Waco Vanguard is what it says.
So
They don't have a football
I
team
think I
though.
think they play 6 man.
they're 6 man
6
football.
Yeah.
They're 21-3 this year, 10-0 in district. They're in that Brazos district, who's currently the second best team in that district at 9-2. Austin Hill Country. Yes, overall, just pretty much a dominant team this entire year. And basketball is their sport, dude. I mean, they haven't lost since December 4th, from what it looks like in here. They lost back-to-back games in a tournament. They lost to the same team twice. I guess in the non-district as well, both in different tournaments. So overall, pretty dominant. The only thing I'd argue is that Fonzo has got something up his sleeve over at McKinney. But still, there's still the old teams of old. St. Thomas Episcopal is 10-0 in district. They're 23-7, looking behind. Colleyville Covenant hasn't lost a game in district. They're 8-0 at the moment. And then you still have some of the other guys in the back. St.
Isn't
Francis
isn't there
is
like Harrison Jones from Lubbock Christian? I only know because he tags us and everything. Yeah, Harrison Jones. He's 6'7" from junior from Lubbock Christian. They made the
Yeah,
state title game last year. You never know.
they're 6-0 right now too in district, 16-7 overall record. Uh, I wish we had more of a grip on this than sometimes than we do. Obviously, we're pretty much finding it out in real time with y'all. But I think as we start getting down the stretch of playoffs and maybe hitting maybe one more episode the week of the actual state championships and then our recap, we should be able to tell you a good bunch about it. But SBC state championships coming up this next weekend. It should be, I think, Valentine's Day weekend is the actual state title game, and then obviously the TAPS state championships are the
Cool.
last weekend of February.
I
So
think I think Wes and I both kind of agreed. I'm holding you to it now because it's on episode that we'll try to catch some basketball, playoff basketball around the state, here and there in the rounds leading up to state. Should be pretty fun, man. I'll say this, and I'm gonna hold myself to it, is that I'm realizing the 27 class in private school, man, they are legit. Like we have multiple 5 stars, big time players, 4 stars. We have D1 players all over the place in this 27 class. I will definitely try to do better next year to do more coverage during the winter time for this 27 class because they look loaded, man, from everywhere. From every team has a 27 who's 6'5" and can just go and play good basketball. So we'll try to do a little bit better their senior years. But man, this junior class is legit, man. I'm excited to see them ball out in the playoffs.
No, it's incredible. The closer we get to playoffs, I've always loved basketball. I think it's partially because um, growing up watching Duke basketball, it's the only sport that I liked that the team was actually good. So I really, really enjoy watching basketball and covering, especially since there's so many incredible athletes that we've hit on TXPS. So keep an eye out for some more basketball coverage as we get to the pinnacle of that. However, that being said, that is the content for this offseason episode, as Ryan mentioned. But also, shout out to Ryan. That is the
Yes,
most
that was
comprehensive
awesome.
basketball breakdown we have had from anyone in the private school space here right on the cusp of basketball playoffs. You will see more basketball content from us, whether that's our social feeds or an episode to preview state, etc. But that being said, as always, I've been with 30 of your hosting crew, Wes Tolleson. Walker Lott and Ryan Schroeder have fantastically been themselves. We will see you in the next episode. See you later.